I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could take.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me or not. If you guys could hear me, whatever. I don't freaking know. I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. It's been a long day. Can you guys hear me? Yes, good. Hi, Sharkbait. Hey, Lee. Hey, Felony Melanie. I hope you're feeling better. Hey, Tinkerbell's mom. Is it Hopsko? My kids drink so much water. Hey, Aesop. Hey, Care Bear. Hope you're feeling better too. Hey, Stranger. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Rianne. Thank you guys for being here. Mama of 3. I want to talk to you guys about this really quick. I promise it's not going to be long. I have so much stuff to catch up on. It's crazy. I have 2 videos I have to edit. One for here, one for TikTok. I have, what else do I have? I want to finish where I left off yesterday, but I wanted to talk about this really quick today. Hope's echo. I'm sorry. I apologize. Are you feeling better, Care Bear? How are you feeling? How is everyone feeling? Brianne, I know your back was hurting. How are you feeling? Hey, pussycat. So I want to talk about this because this case really was this huge, huge phenomenon. Like, it is a case that hits close to home, that hit close to home back in the day, because at that time when it was going down, I was a mother of one. I was very young when I had my first child. So to know that this woman, Casey Anthony, was doing this stuff, we were all sitting by the TV. We all know what we were doing when we saw the not guilty verdict with this. So I wanted to talk about this for a minute to see where you guys head is at. I want to pick your brain. I want your opinions, okay? If you don't know me, I'm Tia Simone. Welcome to my channel. We do true crime on Thursdays, and we do commentary on this channel, and sometimes makeup. We have a lot of fun. If that sounds like something you think you would enjoy, make sure you subscribe. If you watch the replay, hashtag replay in the comment section, and your opinion, all that stuff, all that good stuff. I'm getting there, more sick of the things I've been seeing on YouTube lately. Yeah, it's been bad. It's been really bad. You're doing better, Care Bear? Good. That's good. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself, you guys. That's what matters the most. Take care of yourself. Make sure your significant others are taking care of you, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if they're not, call me and I'll cuss them out. Okay? So anyway, so I wanted to have this discussion with you guys because when I seen this, I was upset. I'm going to say I was triggered. I was very much triggered because if there's one person I cannot stand, it is that woman. I cannot stand that woman. I think she is one of the most horrible people ever. And I do know that there are some people who are on her side and who think that she never did it, blah, 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 blah. I have my own theory about what I feel like happened with that whole case. And I definitely plan on covering it eventually and doing a deep dive, going really deep, just like with the Ken and Barbie serial killers. I want to go deep with the Casey Anthony case as well. A person that did a really great deep dive, of course, is Stephanie Harlow. She did a wonderful deep dive on Casey Anthony. But I really want to talk about this because when I seen it, I was pissed. I mean, I was beyond pissed because I'm like, this woman, I wonder how much they're paying her for one. Okay. I think that's my number one question. How much are they paying her for her to do this? Because there's a reason why people do the things that they do. And obviously there's a reason why Casey Anthony is doing this after how long? It's been how long? 11 years. And also, she's from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I remember when this case was over with, I was told, a whole bunch of my friends, I was at a party one time. It was just like a little get together with friends. And I remember somebody saying, oh, she's literally like not even a half hour away from us. She's in Howland. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, she's that close to us. We were all going to go to her house. We were going to try to find out where she lived and go to her house. So that's how close she did grow up. I don't think she grew up in Ohio. I'm not sure. I don't know the whole story with her. But anyway, for those of you that don't know, and maybe you didn't read the title, Casey Anthony is doing a documentary series with Peacock. And it's like, I don't understand why this woman, people are so intrigued, but then there are a lot of people who are like, no, I'm not watching it. I'm honestly going to say I'm not watching it. I'm not going to watch it. I'll watch the previews and stuff like that, which we're going to watch together in a minute. but I'm not watching it. I don't think anybody should watch it. I personally do not think that anyone should capitalize off of this beautiful child who is now gone because of her mother. I don't think she deserves to capitalize and exploit her own daughter as if she hasn't done enough, but now she's getting an interview with Peacock and probably going to get paid a whole bunch of money. I'm not watching it. I may watch other people that gives like updates on it, but I'm not watching it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the preview so we can watch it together. Good. I'm so glad I see people not watching it. I would like to see somebody say that they are going to watch it though, but let me pull this up real quick.
What's your emergency? My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
It's happening. The most closely watched case, certainly since O.J. Simpson.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, not guilty.
Casey's never told her story. Did she murder her daughter?
Casey interview, marker.
What do you think my question is going to be?
Why did I wait 31 days to call 911?
Did you do everything in your power to protect your daughter?
The public thought that Casey didn't want to be a mother.
The lies make you think that she did murder this child.
It's not the Casey that I knew. She loved that child.
Let her through!
I lied. But no one asked why.
I'm going to leave this up because there is something else that I want to show. I freak out if any of my children are missing for 5 minutes. I don't understand why you would call it in after 31 days. Absolutely. Just seeing her makes me rage. I agree. Why did you? Well, see, that's the thing. When she sits there and asks that question, nobody has asked me why. What do you mean? Nobody has, 31 days, Stranger Clegan. What do you mean? Nobody asked you why. People have asked you why constantly for so many reasons. Why did it take you 31 days to contact the police? Why did you lie and say that your daughter was at with a nanny, but she wasn't with the nanny? Okay. You lied about the nanny. You lied about everything. So people are asking, why did you lie about the nanny? Why did you take 31 days? Why did you lie to your parents? Why did you lie to your friends, your family? There's so many questions of why. You're sitting here. That is a manipulation tactic. I can already tell how this interview is going to go. You're sitting here saying, nobody asked me why. Nobody asked you why. What? The only question, there's so many questions, so many unanswered questions that she never answered. Why did it take her 31 days to report her daughter missing? Why did she lie about where she worked? Why did she lie and say she was going to work? Why? Oh my gosh, there's so many whys. That's all. We all want to know why she chose to make the decisions that she made if she is not guilty. Right? That's what we all want to know. However, those questions were never answered. And do we really think that she's going to answer these questions on the interview? Because no, to me, she's not going to go and do like an interview with, I don't know, fucking Oprah or Nancy Grace or something. Freaking Nancy Grace would rip her a new asshole. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. I don't care sometimes for Nancy Grace, but she will be straight up and ask you the questions that not many people would ask, no matter what kind of contract is being signed. If Nancy Grace can't ask the question she wants to ask, then she's not doing the interview. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that just for her to say that in that interview, in that preview, nobody asked me why, is a lie right there. Because that's all we have is the question of why. If you're not guilty, then why have you done the things that you're done? I don't like Nancy Grace too much either, but I do like how straightforward she is when it comes to a lot of things. She's very straightforward. I believe that too, Victoria. I believe that she is definitely, you know, she's getting paid for this. I'd like to know how much she's getting paid, because that would be interesting to know. But I think that there's definitely, she's probably out of money. Let's be real here. I mean, it would be double jeopardy. So she could admit to it and now without going to jail. But I doubt she will. No, I don't think she will either. I don't think that this woman is ever going to admit to her wrongdoings. Now, they can't prosecute her. There's nothing that they can do. But I still don't think that she's ever going to admit to what really happened. And I'm sure you guys can let me know what your theories are. My own theory about this is I've always thought she's such an irresponsible, she is the epitome of a narcissist to me. So she's that type that self-indulges. All of the research that I've done on her, she didn't have a care in the world about anything. She did the most stupidest things, and she thought everyone around her was so stupid. Like, even when I don't even think she ever worked at Disneyland or Disney World. But she took the cops on this whole charade and pretended as though she worked there, and literally did not admit that she didn't work there until the very end. Even though the police knew she didn't work there, they let her take them on this whole journey of her fucking lying. And it's like, if she could have gotten away with it, she would have. But she couldn't get away with it. But she damn tried to. She wasted resources. The things that she has done, she just doesn't have a care in the world. And I truly believe that she did this on an accident, but she covered it up. And I think her parents helped her cover it up as well. But that's just my opinion. She will get more opportunities now. Books, movies, probably. I agree with that, because she's just, from what I heard, she was a photographer. That's what she was doing. She was doing something like that. But I can't imagine how much money they offered her to do this interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they offered her a lot of money. She's calling all the shots in this truth. People were invested, so she will get many viewers, and they will pick up every word, every syllable, every facial expressions, everything apart. I agree, Erie. I agree. I saw another preview. She's still blaming the father and brother, SAing her, and maybe, oh my God. If she's getting paid, she will have money signs in her eyes and see how far she can take it. I agree. I agree with all of you. I personally, and I'm going to watch the other show you guys the other interview too, but I think this is definitely a money grab on her part. I was surprised that she didn't try to get a money grab sooner. But I can definitely see from this whole interview, it's wearing on her. That you can see. You can see it all over her face, because Casey Anthony has always had kind of like this baby face, very cute. And now, to me, she definitely looks like she's aging very quickly, which happens when you do horrible things and you are a horrible person like her. Your insides start to show on the outside. You know what I mean? She looks absolutely like rugged to me. So, yes, your guilty conscience weigh in on you, all of the things that you have. I just feel like when I see people like that, when it comes to actors and actresses and stuff like that, what you do on the inside will eventually show on the outside. And you can definitely see that in her. So I'm going to pull up the other interview really quick. Not interview, but the preview.
Casey's never told her story. Did she murder her daughter?
Casey interview, Marker?
The first full trailer for the controversial Casey Anthony docuseries is here. The 3-part limited series titled Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, coming to Peacock, boasts the first on-camera interview with Anthony, who was acquitted in the murder trial of her toddler daughter 13 years ago in a case that made global headlines.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, not guilty.
In her 2011 trial, Casey's legal team said her 2-year-old daughter Kaylee drowned in the family pool, but that her remains were found 6 months later in a wooded area near her family's home. While Anthony was acquitted on charges of murder, manslaughter, and child abuse, she was convicted of providing false information to law enforcement. Since a brief teaser for the project was released last week, the series has caused major uproar on social media, with many taking to Twitter to voice their outrage at giving Anthony a platform. Director Alexandra Dean said in a statement, in part, Casey had never given an in-depth or on-camera interview explaining her actions until now, and as a filmmaker and journalist, my interest was in getting closer to the unbiased truth by hearing all sides of the story, from opposing voices to Casey herself. She continued, while having access to Casey was critical, it was even more important that we had complete editorial control over the outcome of the reporting we did. Casey did not see or give notes on the film.
It's not the Casey that I knew. She loved that child.
According to People, Anthony will accuse her father, George Anthony, of her daughter's death in the documentary. She also claims her father and her brother Lee were abusing her. People notes both men denied her claims in court and have never been charged.
And lied. But no one asked why.
Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, streams on Peacock starting November 29th. For more on this story, go to thr.com. This is the Hollywood Reporter News.
Casey Anthony should be 40 by now. Yeah, she should be 40. Let's watch another one.
Why talk to me now? Why talk to me now when you're not getting creative control?
It's been 11 years since Casey Anthony was found not guilty for murdering her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, and now she's breaking her silence. The 36-year-old woman is set to share her side of the story in Peacock's new 3-part docuseries, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, which is set to debut on November 29th. The limited series, which has been created by Alexandra Dean, will feature material from Casey's own archives and a lot of behind-the-scenes footage. Dean shared what viewers can expect in a press release, saying, since her acquittal in 2011, public opinion of Casey Anthony has been largely shaped by the media, convinced of her guilt. What emerges over the course of multiple interviews recorded over 6 months is a startling psychological portrait of Casey Anthony and a complete narrative of what she says happened to her daughter and weighed against multiple sources of potential evidence. I believe the result will surprise many and cause the American public to look at this story in a new light. The director also highlighted that this is the first time Anthony has ever given an in-depth or on-camera interview explaining her actions. And she also said that the production maintained, quote, complete editorial control against Anthony. Kaylee Anthony vanished in June 2008, only to have her remains found several months later. Access Hollywood re-examined the case back in 2020 with legal experts and broke down the tragic timeline of the little girl's death.
The last time that anyone saw Kaylee Anthony was June 16th, 2008.
Little Kaylee was just 2 years old when she vanished, but it would be 31 days before she was reported missing.
On June 20th, Casey Anthony is seen at a nightclub having a good old time, partying it up, and competing in a hot body contest. On June 30th, she's seen on surveillance video going into Target, going into JCPenney, and what's she doing? She's shopping, of course. Perhaps the most cavalier of all her actions is when on July 2nd, Casey Anthony gets a tattoo. And not only does she get a tattoo, she gets a tattoo that says Bella Vita. What does that mean? It means beautiful life. Later, people would question, how in the world can someone get a tattoo that says beautiful life knowing that their daughter is missing?
I remember thinking, this is not at all what it was purported to be.
Sandra Osborne is a retired detective. She worked in the digital forensics unit and examined Casey's cell phone and computer.
What the computer told me was that Casey was online at AOL trying to rekindle an old flame with some guy down in Tampa, and they were planning on getting together. So for someone who was concerned about her daughter, she's on AOL during that same time frame trying to rekindle this old relationship. Something's not adding up.
Casey's mom, Cindy, was desperate to find Kaylee and finally confronted her, demanding to see her granddaughter. That's when Cindy finally decided to call 911.
I have someone here that I need to be arrested in my home. They're there right now. A possible missing child.
31 days after Kaylee is last seen, Cindy calls 911 to finally report this 2-year-old missing. Cindy actually calls a couple times. The first time she calls 911, she wants them to arrest her daughter for stealing her car.
Casey then told her mom that Kaylee had been taken by the babysitter, which later proved to be a lie. Cindy called 911 again.
My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her.
She says that her and her husband have discovered the car, and when they open up the trunk to the car, it smells like a damn dead body.
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Kaylee wasn't in the car, but on December 11th, 2008, a body is found in a shallow grave just down the street from the Anthony family home.
Unfortunately, those skeletal remains were that of Kaylee Anthony.
Now, Casey Anthony was tried for Kaylee's murder, but a jury found her not guilty. She's always maintained her innocence, and she also told CNN in 2012 that she was never a party girl.
I cannot believe that author just literally said that she thinks that the public of opinion will change. Their opinion will change once they see this documentary series. What is it that you think is going to change? Because the majority of people, okay, maybe not everybody, because I do know people who think that Casey Anthony is innocent, and they think that she is not guilty and the jury made the right decision. But the majority, if you know this case, the majority of people think that she did. So how is it that this whole documentary series is going to change people's mind? Do you really think that it is going to change people's mind? Because I damn sure I'm going to tell you, it's not going to change my mind. No matter what she says. That woman has literally no credibility at all. At all. She is the last person that I would believe anything that came out of that girl's mouth after the countless of lies that she told during this whole, when it even started, she lied to her parents. She lied to the police. She probably lied to all of her friends. Like that woman's lying to her damn self. I think she is a pathological liar, and she probably is telling herself, she believes herself that nothing happened. You know, they say that our brain blocks traumatic events in our life. Things that happened in our life that was very traumatic, our brain will block those traumatic events to protect us. Not us, but to protect you, to protect you from experiencing that trauma. You know what I mean? And to me, when it comes to pathological liars like her, even though she did what she did, it's obviously still traumatic. But when you are a pathological liar, you lie to yourself and you believe your own lies. That's how I feel about Casey Anthony. I feel like she's that type of person that literally probably believes that she did nothing wrong. And one of the things that I even noticed when it comes to this whole entire case and when it was happening, she took responsibility for nothing. She didn't take responsibility for taking 31 days to call the police and report her daughter missing. She didn't take any responsibility for lying and saying that she was with the nanny, then lying and saying that the nanny won't give her back. All of those things, all of the lies that she has told and got caught in, there was always an excuse or some type of explanation. She never took any accountability for anything. So we're supposed to believe her now. We're supposed to, our opinion is going to be swayed now because she's going to get up there and tell a whole new set of lies, or continue to tell the same lies that she's been telling over and over and over again. How is this interview going to be any different? The only difference is that you, Peacock, the Peacock channel, whatever, you are the first, okay, to have an interview with her after 11 years of her being silent. That's it. That's the only thing that's probably going to be different. I don't think that it's going to, I know the majority of people, I'm not supporting this. I don't think anybody should support this. I don't think that she deserves to be able to sit down and have an interview and to continue to exploit her daughter as if she hasn't done enough already. Maybe. I doubt that. I doubt that. Dismissed Shay. I don't think that they would. Even if she did take a lie detector test, she's a narcissist, so she knows how to beat those types of things. When you're a pathological liar like she is, I don't even believe in lie detector tests. I'm sorry. Those things aren't accurate. That's why they don't use them in the court of law. So it's like with Dahmer. The director is trying to make us sympathize with her. It's weird. Exactly. I hope their viewership tanks. I do too. How's she just living it up, but Kaylee didn't? Infuriating. It is. It's very infuriating, and that's why I'm not watching it. She is... Hold on. Let me see how old she is real quick. I think she's 40. Oh, she's only 36. Yeah. She looks rough. She's looking rough. Yep, she was found not guilty. Well, the thing is that, in my opinion, the prosecution messed up. I'm sorry, they did. When you are trying somebody, you have to present evidence and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it really doesn't make any sense. And these are questions that I even have that I ask myself. When you convict somebody, the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt when they present it that this person is guilty of the evidence presented to them. However, I've seen cases where prosecution has tried someone without hardly any evidence and they've been convicted. So it doesn't make any sense. Our justice system is very flawed, and we know that. Yes, he does, Commander. I want to watch it just to see what she has to say. I think the money she makes from it should be donated to a DV charity. Yeah, I don't think she's going to do that. I think that's the only reason why she's doing the interview in the first place is for money. I was so close to this case because my oldest at the time was close to Kaylee's age, and I wasn't too far from Casey's age. I had Kaylee as my profile pic during the whole trial. It was definitely close to myself as well, because this is when, you know, I was young, and to think about somebody doing something like that to their child and waiting 31 days to even report your child missing to the police, like nothing added up. So like I said, our justice system is very flawed, very, very flawed. If they can find someone like her not guilty, it says a lot about our justice system. Then Peacock, they should. I agree with that. Did you watch the full trial, Tia? I was running a mock at the time, plus IDT YouTube was a thing, so you had to watch the news, and I was in school through this. I watched the trial, yes. I didn't watch the whole trial, but I did watch the trial when I could. That was a time when I was working in college and I was a single mom, so it was hard for me to keep up with everything, but I did watch the trial as much as I could. That's why LE is really sifting through everything slowly with the Michael Vaughn and Quentin Simon cases. Yeah. Yeah, I think that taught a lot to prosecutors. I think it taught a lot to police to not try someone without enough evidence, because at that time, the prosecution was getting a lot of pressure. They were getting a lot of pressure. They were getting a lot of pressure from the public. They were getting a lot of pressure from everybody to get this woman in court and prosecute her, get her to prison. We all know that she did it. And it's like, sometimes you can do it too soon. And if you don't have enough evidence, this is an example of what will happen. Okay. So for all of these tragedy pimps out here that keep, I'm not saying that, like I said, our justice system is flawed, but to all these tragedy pimps out here that keep compromising the integrity of this case, these are the things that happen when the police arrest the assailant too soon. So people should think about that before they're protesting outside and doing the stupid things that they do and coming up with all of these stupid ass theories and just making the public even more sympathetic towards the assailants who probably did do it. This is a result of what can happen if the police act too soon. I heard she was sleeping with her attorney too. I did hear that, because her attorney, I don't even know if she paid him. Like, I think she paid him in other ways. But I did hear that. That's obviously allegedly, but I do remember hearing that she was sleeping with her attorney. Okay, let me show one last thing here.
Casey interview. A, B, C marker. Saw sticks.
Why talk to me now when you're not getting creative control?
It has been 11 years since Casey Anthony. 11 years.
I want to see this real quick. I want to see what Nancy Grace has to say really quick before I look for the other one. So Nancy Grace is too much, you guys. She's just too much. I have to hear what she has to say. Let me change the speed on this a little. Oh, I changed it. Okay.
Since Casey Anthony was acquitted of the murder of her little girl Kaylee, and now she's speaking out in a new docuseries, and the director says that Anthony had no control over how she's portrayed.
Casey Anthony, once dubbed the most hated woman in America, is back. 11 years after she was acquitted of murdering her 2-year-old daughter Kaylee, she is interviewed in a new docuseries on the streaming service Peacock.
Why talk to me now when you're not getting creative control?
The release of the limited trailer is provoking outrage.
I'm stunned that she has a 3-part so-called documentary.
Nancy Grace, who covered the Casey Anthony case, says she was actually approached by the makers of the series to interview Anthony.
It was a no for me the moment I was asked. I did not want to be part of anything that seemingly glamorizes someone who I believe murdered a 2-year-old baby girl, their own child. They'll probably get great ratings. It's like going to the zoo and looking at the snake behind the glass. I hate snakes, but I look at them.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Casey Anthony's acquittal on the murder charge was front page news in 2011. Now 36, she has been leading a low-key life in Florida. Although she made headlines last year when she called 911 after reportedly getting into an argument with another woman in a bar.
What's the incident? It's a throw drink.
I'm still wet. I got a drink thrown at me.
Nancy Grace has a damning verdict on the woman she calls Tot Mom.
Everything Tot Mom says is a lie.
In a statement, the documentary maker says public opinion of Casey Anthony has been largely shaped by the media, convinced of her guilt. What emerges over the course of multiple interviews recorded over 6 months is a startling psychological portrait of Casey Anthony. I believe the result will surprise many and cause the American public to look at this story in a new light.
I don't want to hear any of her BS.
Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, begins streaming on Peacock November 29th.
Nancy Grace cracks me up sometimes, y'all. She just does. I just wanted to hear what she had to say. So they wanted Nancy Grace to interview her, and Nancy Grace turned it down. Kudos to her, if that's really true. Kudos to her, because like there's no way. Like I was totally against even this documentary and the whole series with Jeffrey Dahmer, because it's being glamorized. This man who was a serial killer and ultimately murdered and cannibalized, okay, mostly minorities. Either way, even if it wasn't minorities, but the point is I think it's not something that should be glamorized, but then you go on TikTok, there are people who literally glamorize this whole fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't agree with it with Peacock either. Just because she was proven not guilty. Yes, we know she was proven not guilty, but I feel like that was just a lot of technicalities. And I also think it's because they tried her too soon. The prosecution messed up. It was a lot of that lied with the prosecution. But in the same sense, I don't think that this woman should be interviewed. I don't think that she should continue to be able to make money off of her daughter that she ultimately took out of this world. Here she is living her life. Yeah, she called 911 because somebody's poured a drink, threw a drink at her. Shit, I'd probably do the same thing if I seen her. I don't know what I would do if I seen that woman. Like, I can't even stand to look at her. Okay, I can look at her for a short period of time, you know, like a few minutes, but I just look at that woman and I just think she's a horrible, horrible human being. Even if my theory is true, and I think it was a mistake, and she covered it up, that still doesn't justify it. She's still, because of the fact that she covered it up, it happened because of the type of mother she was to her daughter. And that's just my opinion. You know, her whole life, to sit there and even say that she wasn't a party girl. That woman, all she did was party. Okay, you heard how they said she was getting the tattoos when her daughter was missing and all of these things. Like, what is it that she could possibly say in this interview? That's the only thing I'm curious about. What is it that she's going to say differently in this interview that's going to change the public opinion? How could people say, how could this author and interviewer say that most of the reason why the public feels the way that they do about her is because of the way the media made her look? Casey Anthony made herself look this way. She is the one who made herself look. She didn't even have to make herself look like the villain. The things that she was doing, her actions is what made her look horrible to the world. The things that she did. It is obvious that that woman did something. And though that would be the only thing I'd be curious about. What is it that she would say in this interview that that would change my mind? That I want to know what in the hell she's going to say with her lying ass that's going to change my mind about the situation, about her. Nothing. I would have more respect for that woman if she just told the truth. I think she accidentally gave her too much chloroform. I'd go to jail happily for whooping her ass. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I seen her. They have never investigated anyone else for the homicide either. I have to give that to Nancy Grace too. Yeah, I got to give it up to Nancy Grace. Much respect. That's integrity. Yeah, I give kudos to Nancy Grace. If she said no, I give kudos. Why would someone give Casey Anthony creative control? Because if they, first of all, I'm sure that there are probably people who did want to interview her, and she probably had stipulations to that, which means the only way I'll do an interview is if I get creative control. And just because this author or whatever, just because she's saying that Casey Anthony has creative control doesn't necessarily mean that she didn't have it. Just because she's saying, why would you do this interview if you don't have any kind of creative control? That doesn't mean it's true. That's just my opinion. And no, they never investigate anybody else, but who else would they investigate? Please enlighten me. Who else would they investigate? Because at the end of the day, the only person that Casey Anthony herself said that she left her daughter with is the nanny, which didn't exist. Let me see here. I think she accidentally gave her. Okay, I read that. One of the other attorneys said he walked in on the, oh, really? She lived with him for a while after the case too. Wow. If she this went on now, she'd most likely be in a 6x4 for the rest of her beautiful life, right? I remember Nancy took this hard because she had just had her son. I remember that. Didn't she have twins? She had twins, didn't she? Tia, will you share what you think? About what I think Casey Anthony did. I think, in my opinion, she had twins. I thought so. In my opinion, I think that my mom used to watch Nancy Grace all the time. My mom actually liked Nancy Grace. I like Nancy Grace sometimes. It just depends. I don't like some of the things that she says. But I do like how straightforward she is. I give her that. So I think that she was going to party and she wanted to she was trying to find a babysitter for her little precious bundle of joy. She was trying to find a babysitter. And I think that she couldn't find a babysitter. So she gave her daughter some medicine to go to sleep. And she didn't leave her at home. I think that, and this, I go back and forth with this, but I think that she gave her some medicine, put her in the car, let her sleep in the car while she went into whatever party she went into. And she came back and Kaylee passed away because she gave her too much. And I think she got panicked. And instead of doing the right thing and calling 911, she didn't call 911 and she just covered it up. And I think ultimately once she decided to cover it up, she literally was going to continue to go on with her life until somebody actually stepped in and said, hey, I seriously think that she would have continued to go on and on and on until, you know, her parents stepped in and was like, whoa, you know, like what the fuck? Where's my grand? I seriously think that in her head, she didn't think that anyone was going to notice. I really just don't. I just think that she got paranoid. She saw her daughter was gone. There was nothing she can do. And instead of taking responsibility for it, she wasn't about to go to jail. So she had to cover it up. Hey, Joanne. Yes, in my opinion. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Victoria. You're so sweet. I love you. I really don't care for Nancy Grace, and she's not above taking advantage of a situation for her own spotlight. The ludicrous thing about this Anthony special is that you literally cannot trust a word. No, you cannot trust a word. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Rianne. You cannot trust a word that this woman says. I'm not watching it. I'm not supporting it. I think that it is ludicrous that it's happening in the first place. I don't think that anyone should support it. I hope that the ratings don't do good, because ultimately, that's just my theory. But ultimately, how you look at it is that even if she did do that, I can see someone panicking and like, oh my God, you know, like, what did I do? But it was only Casey Anthony thinking about herself. And when we do a deep dive and you guys see how much she ultimately only cared for herself throughout her whole life, she was very, very selfish. It was all about herself. She wasn't about to go down for this. And in her head, she was about to go down, because at the end of the day, if they would have found that she had given her daughter like some kind of substance to help her sleep so she can go out and party, well, ultimately that's a bad mom. And she would have had to suffer the consequences for it. So she wasn't about to do that. So she had to cover it up. And I ultimately think her parents helped her cover it up too. Now, till this day, I don't think she talks to her parents. From what I know, if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me on that, but I don't think she talks to her parents anymore because of she's accusing her own father of molesting her. And to be honest with you, I don't believe her. I don't believe her father molested her. I don't believe her brother molested her and did these things to her daughter. She is a horrible, horrible human being, you guys. Her parents would have ultimately done anything for her. And I do think that she is the prime example of sometimes it's okay to spoil your kids, but it's not okay to spoil your kids so much to a point where they don't know what the word no means. I just think she ultimately, they never hardly said no to her. They let her get away with everything. There was no consequences to her actions. She was still money from her parents, her grandmother. She was still money from everyone. And sometimes they covered up. Sometimes they wouldn't even say anything. And when they would try to hold her accountable, they were so afraid of what she was going to do and how she was going to react to things. You have to set boundaries for your children. You have to discipline your children. You have to show your children right from wrong. And I don't think that that was taught to Casey Anthony, which ultimately made her grow up to be a narcissist. She's the most selfish. She was definitely not meant to have a child. And I always say that constantly. There are some people that are not meant to have children. There are some people that should not be allowed to have children. And she is one of those people. She was too damn selfish. There was even a time where she was sitting there saying that who said that her daughter had drowned. Somebody had said she drowned first. I think it was Casey Anthony. Like, it's just, she's just a horrible person. She was exactly shark bait. She was very entitled, very like, yes, my mom spoiled me because I was technically the only child at that point because my two older brothers were gone. It was just me and my mom. And, you know, my stepdad spoiled me, but they still taught me right from wrong. I couldn't go and steal money from them and then be too afraid to say anything to me or hold me responsible or accountable for anything. You have to teach your kids right from wrong, you know? And they didn't, I feel like they didn't teach Casey Anthony that. And I think what is so surprising about that woman, especially when you do your research, is that she thought that everyone around her was so stupid. Like, she was the only smart one and everyone else around her was just like idiotic, like oblivious. If she could have as long as she could have gotten away with people not asking her where her daughter is, and people would ask her, but ultimately she would say, she's with the nanny. She's with the nanny. And even sometimes when she would say she was with the nanny, it was almost like her saying she's with Xanax, because I think that she has given her daughter, and this is just my theory, but I think that she has given her little baby girl medicine to knock her out many of times in order for her to go out and party. And the ones after so many times of doing it, I think she gave her too much, and that's what ultimately happened. I don't think that she did it on purpose, but she covered it up. And the fact that she did it on purpose, when you are a bad mother and you do those types of things, ultimately being a bad mom, that's the result of it. It can be. That's why children should be taken away from bad parents. And I do blame Casey Anthony's parents to a certain extent too, because at the end of the day, they knew she wasn't a good parent. They knew she wasn't. And really what they should have done is stepped in and tried to take some kind of custody over, or get some kind of rights. I don't know. They should have done something. But I think that that's automatically what you're going to think in your head when a precious, beautiful baby is gone because at the hands of their own parent. You think, why didn't this person do something? Why did that person do something? Well, she lived with her parents. They knew she wasn't a good mother. There are things and actions that they could have taken to where she wouldn't even be allowed to leave with her child. Okay? She wouldn't be allowed to leave with their grandchild. My sister had imaginary friends. Yep, Zanny the nanny. Yes, including the police. She thought she was a genius or something. It's very weird. I've never seen anything like it before. Like, even when I was watching Stephanie Harlow, and Stephanie Harlow did an amazing deep dive, which I love her deep dives. But even when I was watching Stephanie Harlow, and she would explain, and that's really the gist of what Stephanie Harlow was trying to explain with Casey Anthony, is she did so much stuff. She got away with so much, and her parents never did really anything to stop it or to hold her accountable. And those things affect you when you get older. Those types of things when, you know, yeah, we spoil our boys, but we still hold them accountable. We still say, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. When they make a mistake, we don't cover it up and say, oh, we'll just let them get away with it this one time. You know, you have to teach your kids these types of things. It's your job as a parent to raise your kids the best of your ability, the best you can. We're only parents. Our kids don't come with a book of instructions. We can only do the best we can. But at the same time, we still have to discipline them. We still have to show them right from wrong, teach them morals, values, respect, boundaries, all of those things. Her parents kept trying to excuse her and give her the benefit of the doubt until they couldn't anymore. And to me, I think once they seen that she was stealing money, not only from them, lots of money, not only from them, but from her grandmother, they should have stepped in. Instead, they would let it go. They would say something to her, but ultimately never did anything. No, they should have made sure that they pressed charges on her. No, you want to press charges on her towards the end when now it's too late. You want to do something about it when you find out that your granddaughter's missing. She stole your car. Okay. You want to do something to get her in jail. You want to hold her accountable now. You know what I'm saying? You should have did that a long time ago, but that's just my opinion. I agree. Some people just aren't parent material. No. She even lied about being pregnant. She did. She sure did. That's the story in this special. Per an article I read today, she says her father drowned her daughter. What article is that? If you can tell me what article it was, I will read it. If Kaylee drowned, there would have been water in her lungs when they did an autopsy. Exactly. They did say one time, though, that she may have gotten into the pool or something like that. I remember they said that. Her parents kept trying to excuse her and give her... Okay, I read that. She stole money to pay Zanny the nanny, right? What happened to Kaylee's dad? I recall he was in the military. I know that the guy that she was with, who I think she thought was Kaylee's father, but then he took a blood test and he wasn't her father. I don't really know too much about the real father, but I do know that the boyfriend that she had that they thought was the father until he took the blood test really loved Kaylee, really wanted to be a part of Kaylee's life, even though he knew that wasn't his real daughter, and she just pushed him away. If I was her parents, I would disown her. I would not want anything to do with her as a parent after, and especially because they helped her cover it up. I don't think they knew about it until towards the end when she started going to court, but I just truly feel like once they found out she did it, instead of outing her like they should have, in my opinion. I know that's hard to do that with your kid, but once they found out that she did do it, they helped her. They helped her attorney cover the whole thing up. No. That girl, Kaylee is no longer here. That beauty, she was so cute. Like every time I see her, it brings tears to my eyes. She was such a cute little, like a bundle of joy. She's like one of those little babies that you just want to squeeze. Like so cute. I truly feel that she's not here, you know, and imagine how beautiful she would be, you know, if she was still here, maybe living with her grandparents and not Kaylee. Like she doesn't get to live her life because of her piece of shit mother. So I just feel like this woman doesn't deserve a platform. She doesn't deserve to have any money off of this. She doesn't deserve to have anything. She deserves to be in prison, rotting away. That's what she deserves. There's consequences for being a bad parent. I don't care if it was a mistake. The mistake is, no matter what, she ultimately is responsible for the death of her child because of the decision that she chose to make. Therefore, she should be in prison for the rest of her life. She doesn't deserve to be out here partying, having fun, making money off of this shit. This whole entire situation, making money off of it. No, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not supporting this. This is disgusting to me. People should be disgusted if you want to watch this. I'm sorry. I understand the curiosity. Maybe watch a couple minutes of it, but don't watch this. Like, all you're going to hear is the same damn thing. Regurgitated bullshit. That's all you're going to hear. Casey knows what happened and will never speak on it. I hope she goes straight to hell when she finally dies. Me too. I do think that that woman does not deserve to be here living freedom and having a life when her daughter, that precious little baby, doesn't. It's not fair. It's just not fair. But life isn't fair. I get that. When they did the autopsy, there was no way to look at the lungs because she was completely skeletonized. Oh, okay. Okay. So therefore, they really don't know if she has, if she didn't. I just remember that they said something like that. They had to come up with a narrative to spin the horror factor onto someone else. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, but I am going to show one more thing. There was a heart. There was a heart on the duct tape. That's a feminine move. Really? That part I didn't know. Huh. Yeah, that is. Like who else would do that besides her? I can't stand that woman. The article I read was in People magazine online today. In the documentary, Anthony alleges her father staged Kaylee's drowning in order to cover up that he may have been. How much longer is she going to continue to lie on her parents? Like, see, let me see if I can find that real quick. Hold on. I know you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this, but I'm going to read it to you. This is on People magazine. And then I will play that video. It says, Casey Anthony is finally speaking out. And thank you. Thank you, Joannie, for showing me where this is at. So it says, Casey Anthony is finally speaking out and placing the blame for her daughter's death squarely on her father, George Anthony. Anthony, now 36, is telling her version of events on Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, a 3-part limited series, which begins streaming November 29th on Peacock. In the documentary, she sits down for the first time on camera for the interview. In 2008, Anthony became internationally infamous after the disappearance of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. Hold on. 6 months after the girl vanished. Kaylee's remains were found in a wooded area near the family home. Anthony was charged with the murder during the 2011 trial. Her legal team said that Kaylee had drowned in the family pool. She was infamously acquitted of murder charges on July 5th, 2011, but convicted of 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement, for which she served prison time. Oh, look at that beautiful little, she just looks like a teddy bear that you just want to hold. She is so cute. So cute. She's just gorgeous. During her extensive interview, Anthony drops several bombshells and elaborates on allegations that she had been sexually abused by her father, George, and her brother, Lee. Both men denied her claims in court and have never been charged. They did not return people's messages for a comment. In the documentary, Anthony alleges that her father staged Kaylee's drowning in order to cover up that he may have been abusing his granddaughter. I wasn't feeling that great and I wanted to lay down, Anthony says about June 16, 2008, when Kaylee was last seen. I had her lay in bed with me. I was awakened by my father, shaking me and asking me where Kaylee was, she continues. That didn't make sense. She would never even leave my room without telling me. I immediately started looking around the house. I go outside and I'm looking to see where she could be. He was standing there with her, she says. She was soaking wet. He handed her to me, said it was my fault, that I caused it. But he didn't rush to call 911 and he wasn't trying to resuscitate her. I collapsed with her in my arms. She was heavy and she was cold. He takes her from me and immediately softens his tone and says, "It's going to be okay." I wanted to believe him. He took her from me and he went away. Anthony says she went to stay with her boyfriend, Tony Lazaro, but he didn't tell her what happened. She says she wasn't under the impression that Kaylee was dead. During the 31 days, I genuinely believed that Kaylee was still alive, she says. My father kept telling me she was okay. I had to keep following his instructions. He told me what to do. I tried to act as normal as I could. When asked if she believes that Kaylee drowned in the above ground pool, Anthony said no. There was no ladder, no way for her to shimmy up. There's no way to explain that unless George put her in the pool to cover up what he did. In the interview, Anthony makes a damning accusation against her father. He'd put a pillow over my face and smother me to knock me out, she says. That happened several times. I'm sure there were times when I was incapacitated as a child where my body was limp and lifeless. Anthony says that she worries that her father had moved on to abusing Kaylee. That's what I think about, she says. I wish every day I had said something to someone about something. Maybe then things would be different. Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, began streaming on Peacock November 29th. That is such bullshit. Hold on, there's another article too. Hold on, you guys. Let me pull this up. She makes me upset at her. She sounds like a liar. She is. I will not be watching this series. She's obviously a liar. Now, bruh, I don't believe you, Casey. No one will believe her. She's good at playing the victim. Okay, if that happened, you would never let your daughter be anywhere near him without you, Casey. There. That's a lie. I agree. Her story is such an obvious lie. She should have stayed quiet. She will have the country hating her all over again. I agree, Love and Light. She must be hard up for money because I cannot imagine any reason she would want to stir all this up again. She is one of the most loathed people, and so many watched this. I agree. I agree. Was she out partying the entire time Kaylee was missing? Pretty much. Victoria, she partied a lot. This is a lie. So basically she's trying to say, so we get a little bit of what she was trying to say. She's trying to say that her father essayed her, okay? And then she thinks that he did that to Kaylee. So what is she trying to say? That she left Kaylee with them when she went and stayed with her boyfriend and all this stuff, and she was back and forth from her boyfriends and all these houses. Kaylee was with her. And if that's the case, then why did she lie and say that Kaylee was with the nanny? Why did she make up this whole elaborate scheme about Kaylee being with the nanny? If she was at home with her parents, then how come her parents didn't know where Kaylee ultimately was and called the police? Her parents were the one who called the police, but she's the one who had to report her own daughter missing. So if that's the case, why did her parents do that then? If they knew where she was and she was staying at home? Like, you see what I'm saying? Absolutely ridiculous. She made up that whole elaborate story. There's a nanny and she's been with the nanny when I go to work. Then she said she had a job at Disney World. Therefore, she wasn't even working. Okay. Her parents had no idea where Kaylee was. They thought Kaylee was with her. How's she gonna now? See, this is gonna make me even more mad because now she's just trying to switch up her whole story. Like, I think Peacock should be banned from even interviewing her. This is absolutely disgusting and vile to me. Hold on, let me see if this is the other article that I wanted to read. Okay, I'm going to read this one article here. Okay, this is another article from People magazine, and Casey Anthony will finally set the record straight in upcoming documentary, says friend. Okay, Casey Anthony is finally breaking her silence in her first televised interview, and those close to the notorious Florida woman say she is excited to have her side heard. After 11 years, she's excited to have her side heard. Okay. Anthony, now 36, will speak out on the Casey Anthony Where the Truth Lies, a 3-part limited series premiering November 29th on Peacock. In the documentary, she sits down for her first on-camera interview. Anthony was given no creative control of the project, and there was no guidelines to what questions could be asked according to Peacock. So why did Anthony consent to an interview? Everyone has been talking about Casey for 14 years, says a close source to Anthony, but she hasn't really talked, so now she's ready to talk. She will finally set the record straight. After Anthony became internationally infamous in 2008 after the disappearance of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, for nearly 6 months. Countless volunteers conducted a nationwide search for the toddler, following up hundreds of leads. That December, Kaylee's remains were found in a wooded area near the family home. Anthony was charged with the murder. Her 2011 trial was a media circus with at least 40 million people watching at least some of the testimony, according to the Nielsen research. Anthony was infamously acquitted of murder and manslaughter charges on July 5th, 2011, but convicted for 4 counts of lying to police, for which she served prison time. Anthony has previously spoken out just once before about the case, giving an interview to the Associated Press in 2017. During the interview, which was not on camera, Anthony acknowledged that the public didn't like her, but claimed that she didn't care. Anthony says, "I don't give a shit about what anyone thinks about me. I never will," she told the outlet. Based off what was in the media, I understood the reasons why people felt the way they feel about me. I understand why people have the opinions that they do. I didn't do what I was accused of, but I fought for 3 years, she continued, not just for me, but for my daughter. Oh my God. During the 2017 interview, Anthony revealed that she has attempted to maintain a social life, drinking with friends at local bars where she says the men are attracted to her and often buy her drinks. She also said she has had short-lived romances since the trial, though she says she keeps a lonely, guarded life now. Anthony made headlines last year when she got into a bar fight with a woman who was competing for the same man as her. The woman allegedly poured a drink on Anthony after a verbal altercation. Mostly, Anthony lives a quiet life in South Florida and avoids the spotlight. Oh my goodness. Since she's got out of jail, she's kept to herself. The source close to Anthony said in April, when people first reported about the upcoming documentary, and people are always talking shit about her. Every few months, a story about what she's doing is published, and you guys, which is the media, just say whatever you want to say. But now she feels like it's time for her to set the record straight and say what she needs to say. She wants her voice to be heard. That is such bullshit. Oh my God. And this is very interesting too. I read this before, and I'm going to read this too because it shows you guys how she's hard up for money. I'm going to read this real quick. Casey Anthony was planning a racy and explicit movie, but it was scrapped due to the C word. Last year, Casey Anthony grabbed headlines when she said she was releasing a racy film about her life. Do you guys remember that? The Florida woman who was famously acquitted of murder in 2011 and the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, disclosed that the film, tentatively entitled As I Was Told, was allegedly contained her explanation of how Kaylee passed away. Anthony would work on her project for the first time with filmmakers. At the time, Newsweek reported that the film could be released in 2020, but the film never happened. A source close to the production says that a multitude of factors, including the C word, derailed the process. It just hasn't really gotten off the ground, says the source. And then the C word became a thing and stopped any momentum that the film had. It's effectively dead now. Anthony was 34 at that time. She lives in South Florida with a private investigator who worked on the case. She has kept a low profile since her acquittal. She's very calculated, a source close to Anthony told People last year when the movie was announced. She wants to tell her side of the story. That's a big plan. That's her big plan, to finally, 11 years later, tell what happened, and she's going to tell everything. The movie was going to include several racy parts. Anthony told the Daily Mail Anthony planned to acknowledge that she had been with several men, and there reportedly would have been a scene. Hold on. There would be a scene of how she became pregnant. Anthony's controversial past includes the 2008 disappearance of Kaylee, who was missing for 31 days before Anthony's mother, Cindy, reported her missing. After a worldwide search for the missing toddler, the girl's remains were found in a wooded area. Lot less than 1/3 of a mile from Anthony's family home. Anthony was charged with first-degree murder. Her 2011 trial was a media circus with at least 40 million people watching at least some of the testimony, of course. She was acquitted of murder and manslaughter charges on July 5th, 2011, but convicted of 4 counts of lying to the police. So this is just the continuation of the story, but that shows you. Hold on. Anthony talked to several production companies before choosing one for the film, which she said would be filmed in North Carolina. Anthony would have been able to put her own stamp of approval on it. She's going to have total editorial control, the insider told People last year, and she's going to push the envelope. She wants everyone to talk about this movie, and then she'll never speak publicly about her life or Kaylee's death ever again. So will Anthony ever speak out with her version of what really happened? Just because the film isn't happening doesn't mean she's not looking for a way to talk about her life, says the source, but it probably won't be this film. So that shows you right there. Okay. That shows you right there that this is a money grab, okay? Because she was planning, I think this was a couple years ago when the C word hit. I remember hearing about that too. I remember them saying that she was going to make a movie, and everybody was in an uproar like, no, fuck that. She don't need to make no movie. She don't need to capitalize off of this. You know, people were outraged then, but they had said that she was going to make a movie. So because that didn't work, now she's doing this, because I I just hope people don't watch this. I really do. So that money grab didn't work. So she waited for the next best thing. And the next best thing was this. And I guarantee you, that was negotiated. She has no kind of control over this Peacock documentary. Okay. But I guarantee you, she still is going to be paid a lot of money. And they're paying her for the fact that she has to answer every single question. But she had editorial control with the movie she was going to do, but was probably getting less money. Peacock is free. However, there are some movies, like if you want access to certain like movies and stuff, you have to pay for it. Like newer movies and stuff like that. Oh my God. I hope nobody watches this. I really hope. I'm going to probably talk about this again because this woman doesn't deserve any kind of like airtime. Nobody needs to watch her. Like, I don't even know what to say. And that is proof right there that she was planning this. She was waiting for whatever opportunity that she had to where she can make some money off of this. She should not be allowed to make any money off of her daughter's name, period. Shame on Peacock. Shame on Peacock for doing this. I am totally appalled. Okay, let me read your comments here. She's really crying about having such a lonely life after taking... Exactly. You took your baby's life, okay? But you're crying about your lonely life. You're crying about... No, you are free. You aren't in prison where you should be. You are free to be out here and have a life, and your daughter is gone. Your daughter deserved so much better, and she would have had so much better. I mean, if she could have been adopted, anything, she deserved better than her, even the grandparents, in my opinion. I wouldn't be embarrassed to show my face. She doesn't deserve a happy life. No, she doesn't. She does not. She's just wanting publicity again. Yeah, why? But see, that's what I don't understand. I mean, I know she's doing this all for money, but like, is it really going to be worth it? Maybe for her, because money, she probably really needs money. Obviously she does, but it's like the fact that you can make money ultimately off of your daughter, and you are the one who took your daughter out of this world. Nobody should want to interview that girl. Nobody should. She should be grateful that she isn't behind bars. Exactly. But she's not that type of person, though. She is so selfish. No matter what, she's one of those type of people that would never, ever sit there and be appreciative of the fact that at least your ass isn't rotting away in prison where you actually belong. You actually have a life, and you deserve every bad thing that comes your way. Every bad thing. Disgusting pig. She is. I've never seen a clear pic of her since the trial ended. Yeah, there's just no way I can even look at her. I don't like the way she talks. She is a liar. She makes you seriously want to jump through the screen and punch her in her fucking face. It's 100% a money grab, stranger. Exactly. Yes, Victoria, she is hard up for money. She could get a job. She could. And she probably has problems getting jobs. Like, would you want to hire her? I wouldn't hire I would not hire her. Everybody knows who she is. Like, she would have to go to like, out of the country for people not to actually know her. Must answer every question, but Nancy Grace wouldn't have been able to ask her every question. No, I don't agree. And I personally don't agree I don't believe Peacock when they say that Casey Anthony has no control. I guarantee you there are questions that they asked her that she refused to answer. That's just my opinion. I think they're making it look like that to the public, but I don't believe them. I don't believe that Casey Anthony doesn't have any kind of control over this interview whatsoever, or what questions they ask her and she has to answer every question. No, I just don't believe it. But that's just my opinion. People lie. You know, you can't necessarily believe Peacock, especially when they're going to interview the likes of Casey Anthony. You can't necessarily believe them. And in my opinion, there are questions I guarantee you that she refused to answer. They just probably didn't air that part. She'd be incarcerated if she told all. She's not, no, Mandy. That would be double jeopardy. So she can't. They've already tried her. You can't try someone on the same crime twice. So she could go on air and say that she did this to her daughter and there's nothing that they could do. I had to turn my damn heat down. In Australia, news outlets have to tell the public how much they pay for interviews unless a legal document is drawn up. It's crazy. It's not the same case here. Yeah, it's stupid. America has some pretty stupid shit that happens here that shouldn't. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's the land of the free, but there are a lot of things that is not understandable. They might be able to, I don't know what other charges they would be able to, Mandy, but I don't know. I just know that she could admit to killing her daughter, and there's nothing that they can do. And even that in itself is a flaw in our justice system. But then in the same case, it protects innocent people. So I get it. You know what I mean? Like, hi, country bro. I think it protects people like, you know, us who have may have been falsely convicted of something, and it stops the you know, the police, the prosecution from constantly trying someone over and over and over again. But in the same sense, I don't know. What if new evidence, like what if new evidence was to come into play? So what? I was in jail with people that were, you're right, our justice system is flawed. It is flawed, yeah. But no, even if they were to come up with new evidence, there's still nothing that they can do. It would be double jeopardy. So, whatever. I'm not watching it. So, I hope you guys don't watch it either. Is anybody going to watch it? If you're going to watch it, put a 2 in chat. That were sentenced with other charges because of that. Yeah. All I know is that with her, she could go on camera and admit to everything, and there's would be nothing that anybody can do about it. So, but I don't think she's ever going to admit to what she did. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think she's ever going to say, I did this. I made a mistake. I own up to it. Even though she knows ain't nothing going to happen, she's still never going to admit to it because she's a pathological liar. That's all she does is lie. So therefore, like, she literally, we already know where this interview is going to go, right? Because I just read to you guys what she's saying now. And now she's saying that she left Kaylee at home. But the grandparents didn't know where she was. It's about to be a whole new set of lies, then some regurgitated bullshit lies. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ludicrous. Let me get my water real quick. Okay, loves, I'm back. So basically what I will say is that I'm not watching this. After the trial, she was paid $200,000 for what? You know what? I did hear about that, country bro. I did. I remember that she didn't she like pose nude or something? She's definitely made some money just off of capitalizing for her being, you know, infamous. Not famous, infamous is a complete difference. Just like Molly Golightly, she's infamous. She's not even anywhere near close to being famous, and all the rest of the tragedy pimps. But I am not going to watch this, and the whole point of me wanting to do this was just to get an idea of what you guys thought of everything, just to do a little bit of commentary on it, talk about it, because I know that there's a lot of people that are upset about this interview, including some people that I have seen. Even if I was to go and look in the comment section, hold on, just to see what other people are saying, I am not going to. I was talking to my brother today. He was outraged over it, like, oh my God, like this is crazy, because he can't stand that bitch. I just don't like her. This case was very close. Like I remember watching the trial. I remember keeping up with it. I remember when the not guilty verdict came in, how upset I was. I remember how upset my mom was. I remember how upset my stepdad was. And I'm sure a lot of people remember what they were doing that day when you were watching court and seeing that she was ultimately not guilty. So I'm not going to watch this. I'd say shame on Peacock. However, this is beneficial to Peacock. They're going to bring in a lot of money from this interview because, yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't watching, but there are going to be twice as many people that are going to watch this out of curiosity. There's going to be a lot of people who say they're not going to watch, but will watch because they're just curious, but would never admit it because she's that much of a horrible person that people don't want to admit that they're going to watch to hear what she has to say. Yeah, they can come up with a lot of stuff. I mean, they did get her on 4 counts of lying to the police and all that kind of stuff because she did. Thanks, Mandy. I like what you're doing over there on your channel too. So I may not ever watch Peacock again. I'm not going to lie. That's the disdain that I have for this human being. If she even is a human being, like I can't believe, yeah, they're going to benefit off this. They're going to make a lot of money, like nowhere near the money that they paid her. Let's put it that way. And I just think that it's very exploitative. She doesn't deserve to have any money off of this. She doesn't deserve to have a say. And I understand that this is America and everybody deserves to have a say, but I don't believe she deserves to have a say. She has done enough. She has taken her daughter out of this world, and here she is living off of it, exploiting it. And I just will not be watching this. And I just have no respect for Peacock. And I've always watched Peacock. I like, you know, because it's free. And I like watching it sometimes, but I don't think I'm ever going to watch again. The fact that I understand that it's about money, you guys. Money makes the world go round. That's why people do what they do. They know that this is going to be a highly publicized documentary. They know the media is going to continue to talk about this. They're going to continue to listen to every word and hear every word that comes out of Casey Anthony's mouth, and they're going to, every accusation, everything that she makes, they're going to report on it. It is going to become another media circus all over again. And it's like, almost like she's looking for that, Casey Anthony. There's definitely a motive as to why she's doing this, for sure. Just remember, if you boycott Peacock, that you have to boycott NBC because it's the same network. Okay, so NBC owns Peacock. Yeah. I just don't see myself watching Peacock after this. I'm not saying that I won't, but I'm just saying I think it's very, very distasteful for them to go as low as to have an interview with somebody like her. But they've seen the money that's in it. They've seen the revenue that they're going to earn. And that's really all they care about at this point. So I want to see something here. I want to read some of the comments under Peacock to see what some people are saying, which they're probably saying the same thing that we are all saying, but I'm sure there's some people who feel differently. They showed exactly who they are doing this. I agree. I don't watch Peacock. There was a woman who killed 2 of her husbands, shot the second guy in the head, and had a slew of charges. She killed 2 of her husbands? Jeez. 2? That is horrible. I don't have NBC. I don't have NBC either. I don't have NBC. I watch YouTube and Safari Live. That's all I watch. It's crazy how she can do it. I myself, no lie, feel ill hearing about this case. Remembering it disturbs me. It does. It's very traumatic for a lot of people. There are so many streaming services now. We are drowning in them. Just got rid of HBO Max. Well, until is it Succession is back? Yes, we use a VPN. Yeah, I do too. It's supposed to air November 29th. Mama of 6. My first time on here, I must say. I like the vibe. Thanks, country bro. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. I mainly watch Discovery Plus and YouTube. Yeah, I watch YouTube, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. I like Hulu. It's rare to beat trial, especially if it's federal. It is very rare. I agree. I was surprised she was found not guilty. I was very surprised. I think the world was in shock. The whole world. And let's read some of these comments here. So it says, the fact she waited a month to report her daughter missing is absolutely proof of guilt to me. Completely vile human. One other person says, are we just going to give her another chance to tell us about how she's really the victim in all this? There's too much evidence for it to leave There's too much evidence for it to have been done by someone else. You won't sway the public opinion, Casey. The only possible way this documentary could be considered ethical and necessary is if she straight up confesses. That's what one person said. No one wants to hear Casey continue to lie about what happened to Kaylee. The only thing we want to hear from her is an admission of guilt. I gotta like that one. Another person says, shame on you, Peacock. This is absolutely disgusting. Nobody should be allowing her the spotlight to speak her truth. We all know that's a bull-faced lie. I agree. So most people are not very happy about this. Someone else says, hope this isn't going to be the new trend. We shouldn't allow monsters to profit off their murders and networks to make money off of victims' gruesome killings. You know what? She's right about that. And that's something also that I really didn't talk about, because not only is Casey Anthony exploiting her daughter that she ultimately murdered, but so is Peacock. They're exploiting this whole situation too. They know she's guilty. They're not stupid. Another person says, this is absolutely foul. I will never use Peacock again. Rest in paradise, Kaylee. Yes, rest in paradise. Someone else says, this is absolutely disgusting. It is impossible to imagine a mother duct taping her child's mouth and throwing her in the woods. This entire case was poorly tried, and there was no justice for that baby. The jury should live with shame every single day of their lives. Someone says, why? Unless you're going to tell what really happened, who wants to hear you talk? We will never forget you, Kaylee. Yes, absolutely. Simply vile in a whole new level. What could possibly possess anyone to give this abhorrent woman a platform to speak her truth? Unless this is a full-blown confession, I'm not sure why this horror of a human being is even being given an opportunity to speak. I agree. She's absolutely going to victimize herself and never once take accountability for the fact that she didn't report her child missing for over a month and then led the police around town, excuse me, lying about where she worked and places she had been with her daughter. Yep. The audacity she has to show her face again. R.I.P. Kaylee. You're gone but never forgotten, baby girl. She is definitely not forgotten. Please, no one support the official release of this. Doing so will only give this horrible woman the money and gratification she wants. Even if you are just hate watching this, the algorithm doesn't know the difference. That's true. Someone else says a lot about what kind of person she is for trying to get back into the spotlight again after laying low for so many years. I wish they would go back and go through the DNA again and find her guilty or someone she knows guilty, because little Kaylee deserves justice, and this monster of a person that she really is needs to suffer for what she did to her daughter. How sick. Why talk to me now? Because you're paying me lots of money. Exactly. It's sad how much our society seems to love liars and give the worst people notoriety rather than promote the positive, anything for money. And that's true. Like, we in America tend to get to a place where we glorify the perpetrator and the victims are always forgotten. It pisses me off so bad. But in the same sense, I'm doing the same. You know what I'm saying? Because here I am talking about Casey Anthony and the piece of shit that she is. But ultimately, Kaylee is who should be remembered, who should be talked about. I think it would be awesome if they were doing like something about Kaylee in remembrance of Kaylee, but we glorify here in America, we glorify the assailant. We glorify them and always forget the victims. It's like that with Jeffrey Dahmer. It's like that with every fucking case. We just have this fascination with serial killers and murderers, and we have this fascination as to why they do the things that they do, and we want to get in their head, and the victims somehow just get lost. And it's wrong. It really is. It's very wrong. She will always be guilty. Someone else says, guilty, guilty, guilty. Does anyone believe in Casey's innocence? Her own parents know she is guilty. Justice doesn't exist in the U.S. legal system, and this is proof of that fact. Someone says, I would have quickly adopted the sweet child if she didn't want her anymore. My son would have been the best big brother for her. I followed this case from the beginning and at the end. I remember going into a depressive funk when she was found innocent. I had to double my medication for a while. I now have both my son and a daughter, and the thought of something bad happening to them is a nightmare fuel. This piece of shit has no soul. 11 years to come up with the best lie ever. So I want to see if there's any like positive comments here. So let me scroll down. Psychopath's gonna psychopath. We all know she's not going to tell the truth, right? Like this will be her lying after lie after lie. Friendly reminder that not guilty does not mean innocent. That's a good one. Someone says she did an interview 5 years ago. I remember watching. It would probably be nothing new. She didn't do an interview as far as you didn't watch it, you read it, because she never went on camera with an interview. She had her time in court to tell the truth. Why are they bringing her back into the spotlight? Yeah. I don't think there's any positive comments in here, you guys. Maybe there will be more people that won't watch it. It says 145K views, 405 likes. Says it all. That's funny. I can't comprehend this. Me neither. All these people talking bad, no, they're going to tune in just to see what she has to say. Bullshit. I'm not tuning in. I don't have to tune in. I could give a fuck less. I don't want to watch her. I don't want to see her fucking ugly face. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, she's ugly to me. Sorry. I don't talk about looks, but that woman is ugly from the inside out. I don't want to watch her, and I'm not going to watch her. I stand by what I say. I'm not curious in a bit. Yeah, I may watch other channels that give updates about the shit that she says, but I will be damned if I sit there and support Peacock, okay, and them capitalizing off of a child who is gone. I'm not watching it. How much is she getting paid for this interview? You know what? That would be a really nice thing to know. I think that, when they interview people like her, I truly feel like they should disclose how much that person's getting paid for it. I think there should be some kind of law with that. That's just my opinion. I mean, one of the highest listened to podcasts in the world is called My Favorite Murder, and their tagline is "Stay sexy and don't get murdered." Like, wow, that's interesting, stranger. You have to give me more information about that. It's crazy how the majority of crimes against children are a slap on the wrist. Before weed became legalized, there was a woman sentenced to 3 years for distributing marijuana and had a child, and a child abuser was, hold on, let me finish the rest of this, given a year. It makes you wonder about exactly. It makes you wonder about our justice system as a whole. It's very flawed beyond belief. Police brutality, people found guilty that are really innocent. Do you know how many innocent people are in prison, especially minorities? Our justice system is beyond flawed. Okay. Do you know how many people who are guilty are found innocent because of technicalities or because they're sent, they try them too soon? All of these things, like, it's ridiculous. No one with a positive comment is going to speak out publicly. There are some people who are bold enough to do it. It's probably all the way down at the end. There were a lot of comments on there. I just went out of there. If I find one, though, I will let you guys know. But there are a lot of people who publicly defend Casey Anthony. 100%. Like, I remember when I was talking about Amber Heard, all the evidence presented against Amber Heard, there were still people in my comments saying that I should be ashamed of myself for talking so badly about Amber Heard. Sorry. Like, she's another one who's a fucking psychopath. Okay. So yeah, there are definitely people who think that she is innocent. Casey was caught in a bunch of lies, including where she worked. She was lying about the nanny. The nanny didn't even exist. She made up, like, she was caught in so many lies. So this interview is just her regurgitating the same lies and making up new ones. It took her 11 years to make up all these elaborate lies. It's ridiculous. I don't care. Like I said, I'll watch updates, but guess what? I'm not going to be the one to be on my channel as a creator and sit here and complain about that. Her, Casey Anthony, I'm not going to sit here and preach about it. I'm not watching her, and you guys shouldn't watch her either. You think I'm going to watch her? No, I have much better things to do, like making TikToks or something. I'm not going to watch that stupid shit. And shame on Peacock for being such, like, ugh. But that's an interesting podcast. I like to do more research about that podcast you're talking about, stranger. That's crazy. Thank you, Commander. You're so sweet. Yes. Zanny the Nanny. Yep. I've always thought Zanny the Nanny was a code for benzo she gave Kaylee to make her stay asleep longer, and she overdosed. That was my opinion. That's what I think she did. I think she was always giving Kaylee different, kind of pills to get her to go to sleep so she can go out. And it was just one time where guess what? It just ultimately took her life. And I don't think that she did it on purpose. I think it was an accident, but it doesn't matter. You gave your daughter medicine to go to sleep so you can go out. That's a bad mom. You know what I mean? It's just horrible. It's so sad. It's so depressing. Just like that one comment that I read about the lady saying that she went into a deep depression. A lot of people really, really took this hard when she was found guilty or not guilty. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were just like stunned. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people went into a depression. So I'm sure it's hard for a lot of people to know that she's going to be interviewed. It's probably triggering for a lot of people too. It sucks, you guys. I wish people would be different about, glorifying criminals. I think it's important for people to always keep the victims' memories alive. And that's just not what makes money, though. And yet, unfortunately, there's going to be people watching, and they're probably going to make a lot of money off of this, but it doesn't matter because I'm not watching. Tia, agree. It was an accident. That is why first murder could not be proved. State screwed that up. Right. That's what I truly believe. I don't think she did it on purpose, but like I said, she's still a bad mom, which ultimately resulted in her daughter's death. So therefore, she's a murderer. You don't give your daughter, you don't give your child those kind of pills just to get her to go to sleep so you can go out. If she don't go to sleep, then your ass stays home and you don't go out. It's very simple. Well, if you decide to watch, at least you can stream it, have a watch party so people can watch on your channel to take viewers from Peacock. That's actually a good idea, but I just can't watch it. I think more people would probably seriously be like, are you seriously going to even stream this? You know what I'm saying? Just for views. To me, it's really not worth the views. It's just not worth that for me, but it's definitely something to think about. But I just can't watch her. I just don't like her. I think she's a horrible, horrible person. And if anything, that day on November 29th, I would maybe do a stream about Kaylee and talk about her. And what a beautiful soul she that little beautiful angel. Like I said, she's so cute. My mom, oh my God, my mom was so upset. I just remember because I remember her crying because, just hearing the story and being a grandparent herself at that time. And I was so young. And my mom used to say all the time, Tia, if you want to go out, all you have to do is, I'm like, Mom, I would never do something like that. And she's like, but I still think it's good to reassure your children, especially because I had a child at such a young age. If you want to go out, you can go out. But I still, I would never go to that extreme. That's absolutely ridiculous. Who in their right mind? Okay, first of all, if you have a child, okay, when you choose to have a child, whether you're young, older, whatever age, I don't want to say that your life is over because you don't want to think that way, but it's not about you anymore. It's about your child. It's about your child comes first. You can't think about yourself. You have to think about your child first. And no matter how much you want to go out there and party and live it up, you're a parent and you can't do that. You have to make sure that your child is taken care of and safe and sound before you do anything to have fun. The party's over once you have children. It just is. So I think my mom was just out of that paranoia of how could any person, you know what I'm saying? How could a mother do something like that? And I'm like, you don't have to reassure me about anything because at the end of the day, I knew that if I did want to go out, I could ask my mom to babysit. But guess what? If my mother said no, I didn't go out. I'm not going to say, oh, let me give my child some medication. So who thinks like that? Only a psychopath, only a narcissist, only someone who thinks of themselves, right? I agree. I couldn't have her. Hold on. I agree. I couldn't have her attorney and live with myself after that. He did it for popularity. He did. And how popular did he get off of that too? He got really popular. Everybody wanted him as an attorney after him winning that case. It's sad. And he knew she did it too. You know, I'm sure she confessed to him, especially if she was sleeping with him. Who said, I think it was Rianne who said that she was sleeping with her attorney. So yeah, I'm sure she told him the truth, and he still got her off. It's disgusting. People are disgusting, dude. But no, I'm not going to watch it. I think it's disgusting that Peacock is doing that, and shame on them. I probably will not be watching Peacock anymore. The fact that they would go this low to interview a piece of shit like her makes me question the integrity of the person who is in charge of that channel, which is NBC, right? No, I'm done. Which I never watched Peacock that much anyway, so I really don't care. But I will not be watching it. And I see the majority of people won't be watching it either. If you do watch it, you can let me know what you think about it. Or maybe I'll have you up on panel and you can fill us in on some of the things that she was saying. But I don't think she's going to say anything new, to be honest with you. I think she's just going to tell the same bullshit lies, but more elaborate. Because it took her how long? You want to know how long she's probably sitting her ass up there trying to figure out the best lie that she can tell before she actually went through with an interview. So then she's going to tell all these lies, right? And then do you guys think that her parents are then going to come out and debunk her lies? Because I think that that's what's ultimately going to happen. It's going to start something for sure. I was 16, pregnant, raised a beautiful son, and never ever would give him nanny zanny or whatever. He wasn't easy either. He was a crybaby, and I used to have to drive him around town to sleep. Me too. I was 15, and I used to, well, the thing is that I used to love driving at that time, and I used to take my firstborn, and we just used to go, we rolled. We would just go for rides and listen to music, and it was nice. And it did help him sleep. It definitely wasn't easy, especially as a teenager. That's not easy at all. So shout out to all the mamas out there. I know it's hard. It gets rough. It's not easy being a mama, but you guys are all amazing moms. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh my God, that guy. That guy's crazy. He's from CT, a family member. Went to school with Aaron. Who are we talking about here? He was his lawyer too. I have 4 daughters, 2 grown and 4 grandkids. It's so sad. Kaylee would have been a teenager by now. I know. It's so sad. He was Anthony Hernandez's attorney as well. The football player. Oh, okay. That's who you're talking about. When I heard the verdict, I screamed some cuss words at the TV. Words I didn't even realize I knew. Yeah. So did I. So did my mom. So did my stepdad. So did my brothers. No way I could ever be a defense attorney when you know the client is guilty. Yeah. I don't know how they do it. But then again, they charge a lot of money and they don't care. And that attorney, Casey Anthony's attorney, he did that strictly for popularity because he wasn't getting paid. I think her parents might have paid him some of it, but I don't think he really benefited off that case at all. He obviously didn't benefit if he was screwing her. That's for sure. The only thing he gained is because obviously this was a highly publicized case, so he got a lot of exposure, popularity. He got more clientele, obviously, once that happened. It gave him the recognition that he wanted. But other than that, he didn't gain anything off this case. And I look at him like he's a piece of shit too. So Well, it was just an idea. If nothing else, maybe Tia will let you on panel to report on it afterwards. Yeah. You know how the tragedy pimps operate. Yep. They're all disgusting, vile human beings, just like Casey Anthony. Maybe not as bad as her, but they're bad. If it does well and gets enough attention, they'll stream it. I think it's going to, unfortunately, that's the sucky part. People are going to watch out of curiosity. I was hoping that if enough people didn't watch it, you know, maybe they won't do it, but it's already done. So I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. And I think Peacock is going to be very regretful for this interview, though. I truly believe that. I'm just reading your comments. I remember when I would spend the night with a friend, her mother gave us Benadryl. Didn't think anything of it, but my mom would have had a fit if she had known. Wow, Benadryl? Yeah. Thanks, Country Bro. We're all awesome. Some amazing people in this chat. I have amazing mods. I'm very, very blessed. I like how respectful people are with their opinions, how outspoken people are of what they feel. They don't hold back, and that's what I want. This was going around when I became pregnant. I was super emotional and couldn't stop crying. That baby girl was beautiful. She just looked like a teddy bear to me, like just a perfect face. I couldn't imagine how gorgeous she would be now in her teens. Like, it's so sad. And it's something that I don't think anybody will ever get over. And I think eventually Peacock, they're going to be very upset with themselves for going through with this interview. Money isn't always everything. When it compromises the integrity of your channel, your network, you should probably think twice about interviewing someone who is a murderer, a child murderer. You know what I'm saying? A baby murderer. She was only 2 years old. Her daughter was only 2 years old. Maybe think twice. I don't care how much money you know you're going to make off of this. At the end of the day, is it worth losing millions of people from actually watching you? People who were probably dedicated to watching your channel, no longer watching your channel because of you doing this interview, and all you see is dollar signs behind this. So I think you made a bad decision, Peacock, but whatever. You guys are amazing. I just wanted to get your opinion about everything. This is a great channel. Tia keeps it real. Thank you, Victoria. You're so sweet. I like real. That's the only way to be humble, kind, and real. Absolutely. That's all I ask for. I don't believe in an echo chamber or anything like that. I believe people should freely speak their opinion, even if it doesn't align with mine. But anyways, you guys, when I think about how much money she's probably getting paid from this interview, it makes me physically sick. Ill. It makes me, it really proves how much money is the root of all evil. It really is. Shame on you, Peacock. Shame on you. What I will say is I really adore you guys. I think you're amazing. I just wanted to have a talk with you guys about this to see where your head was at and what you guys thought. So I get the point. The majority of you are not going to be watching, and I'm not going to be watching either. On the 29th, maybe I will do a stream to maybe talk about like Kaylee, you know what I'm saying, or do something like that. But I'm not going to watch, and I'm glad that you guys aren't either. Tia, what are your thoughts about Delphi? I haven't really kept up with that case that much. I want to do a story, like I want to talk about that case too, because I have been very intrigued by it recently. I see that they did arrest someone. But seriously, I really haven't caught too much about that case. The only thing that I know is like what happened in the beginning, and I know what's happening now. And I know that they finally arrested someone, but they're still trying to figure out if that's him. They're comparing like their sketched photograph with, you know, the guy who was recently arrested. So I do want to get more into talking about that case too, because it is very interesting. So that's going to be on my list to talk about too. Yeah, it does. You guys are amazing. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys having a conversation with me. Always good conversation with you guys. I always stay on here longer than I plan to because I always enjoy talking with you guys. I'm glad that the majority of you guys aren't watching. However, if you do watch, email me. And then maybe we can make arrangements for you to come up on panel and give updates about it. You're not going to be judged if you do watch it. You know, there's no judgment here. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm not going to judge someone else that watches it because that's your choice. And it's understandable why you would want to watch it. Bye, Commander. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. So tomorrow's back to talking about the tragedy pimps because I want to finish off. I want to finish where I left off yesterday when I was rudely interrupted by my internet. So we will talk about that tomorrow and Thursday, true crime. I love you guys so much. Thank you to all of you guys. Thank you to my amazing mods. You guys rock. Thank you to all of you guys for being so interactive, talking with me, being so amazing. I will see you guys tomorrow for the tragedy pimps, and maybe I'll have an open panel. We'll see. To see what you guys think. Right? It's always Apple. It's always fucking Apple. All right. I love you guys so much. Take care. It's good to see you, Mandy. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you all for being here. You guys mean a lot to me. And I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Deuces. Love you guys so much. Have an amazing rest of your night or day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay? Deuces. Love y'all. Bye.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gonna feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit, so sharp, so